Howdy y'all, JTJ here with RollToWound.com. In this tournament battle report, I take Ogor Mawtribes to Goldmine Games in Richmond, Texas. So, let's get ready to roll. Alright, so for my next army, for the Texas Master season, I was needing to come up or build a destruction army because I'm still on my path to play one army from each Grand Alliance at each one of the major GTs for the Texas Master Series, and destruction what was left, and we're taking a destruction army to Slambo and San Antonio at the end of May. So, all of March, I really debated, am I going to take Iron Jaws? Am I going to take Suns? And I went back and forth, back and forth. And then Mr. Ratley gifted me a mega, and I said, you know what, that sold me. That's a quarter of my army already right there. So I went ahead and got the other three giants, built them all up, primed them, started painting them, had the skin done on two. Was making really good progress, and then Battle Scroll of the Hunt dropped, and all of a sudden my gate breakers were 2 points if you killed them, unless you killed them with a priority target. And I know there's a lot of conjecture out there of how bad it actually did hurt Suns, but I just couldn't think of anything more than you kill a gate breaker, I'm giving you 3 points. That's a huge swing to me, and man, I was really really downtrodden about that. I felt that, man, that's a huge nerf that hit them, um, because there is a lot of close games, and a good player will know how to target, even if they're playing something like, even if they're running Bastillodons, even if they're running Dot, they're still got many many ways to drop a giant that isn't actually a priority target. So I was really like, okay, I kind of put off by that. And I was already 50-50, I guess, on the fence with Suns anyway. I don't know if I haven't ever played them, but I was really worried about just having four models, that play style. I'm used to screens. I love the mass infantry. I love just hordes and hordes. So I went really back and forth on it. So it wasn't until Brian had his discussion about his Ogor Mawtribes list on AOS Coach, and I sat there and I watched the stream that night when it was live, and I was really like, you know what, I think I can get into some ogres. It does a lot of the stuff I like. You got cheap screens, you got beefy units, it's got some shooting. So I said, you know what, there's a ton of wounds, ton of bodies. It could be a good bit of board control. So I went ahead and I made the decision. I pulled the trigger and I jumped in on some ogres. So I built a list, and using a lot of the ideas that Brian had sort of, the foundation that he had come up with, and I sort of tweaked it a little, added some of my own touches. So we're running Underguts. Hold the line is the one thing I don't like about my list. I don't like that as a grand strategy here, but it is the best one for what I have, so I'm rolling with it. Starting off, we got a Huskard on Stonehorn, and Brian doesn't run this in his list. He just has more lead belchers and more cannons and a butcher. But I really looked at that Stonehorn and I went, man, it's a monster. It can put out some mortal wounds on the charge. It hits pretty hard, and it's decently fast. It's sort of like a maneuver unit, or I could just hold it back within the castle, and if somebody charges, it can be a counter charge unit. But I needed a non-name character because I really wanted to put the Noblar Blast Keg on someone, because Gruesome Trophy Rack is just too good on the Tyrant. You've got to have it in this list, so you've got to find something else to put that blast keg on. And I was thinking, like, a Stonehorn with a blast keg is not that bad. You could throw that out, and do some mortal wounds. So you could just pile on to all those mortal wounds that he can do from his charges, from his metal cruncher. I got a Noblar blast keg, so that Stonehorn has the potential to do a good amount of mortal wounds. Because this list does struggle with some high armor saves, and that Stonehorn also sort of helps in that area as well. General is going to be the Tyrant. Massive Scars is the command trait. Great command trait for him. Artifact is Gruesome Trophy Rack. That's going to give that +1 to hit monsters and heroes. That's what this list runs on. It's trying to kill monsters. It's trying to kill heroes. And he's got the Fate Seeker for the big name. Taking Rothgorn, that's going to give you a little versatility for battle tactics. Taking on, enemy they're going to have to stay true and stay on their points unless he's going to pop out and take them. Also, you get a battle tactic off of him or two. So good inclusion. And even if you just took a Icebrow Hunter instead of Hawthorne, I think it's still a good inclusion into this list. Next, we're getting down to the units. So I am bringing the Gnoblars. We've got a total of 80 out there. I did 1 unit of 50 and 2 of 20. I have double layer screens and even triple layer screens if the map and the opponent, if it's laid up right. That was something I ran into with my dock a lot, is I just didn't have enough screens. If I would have if I had the room for 20 more witch elves in that list, it's just like it would have made the world of difference for me. So that's something I really wanted to dive into and just really have a lot of screen out there. And plus, it's just bodies for holding objectives. It's just all sorts of stuff. So Gnoblars, 20 wounds for 100 points is not bad. The man trappers that go with Hawthorne, 3 units of lead belchers. This is sort of your beef in the middle there. Beautiful for holding an objective. And they're swingy. What do you say? You're dealing with ogres. They're swingy. So have the potential to put out some good wounds and have the potential to do nothing. Got 3 iron blasters, and this is sort of the other part of the swinginess, is that you're rolling, and if you roll hot, you can just sort of insta kill things, and if you roll cold, well, that's what you're dealing with. So it's kind of destruction. You're living and dying by some dice rolls. Taking 2 battalions of the warlord to give me the extra artifact, and the hunters, and I put that on the lead belchers. I went back and forth on whether having it on the Gnoblars or not. I think it's better just to have them on the lead belchers so I can all out defense or not get stomped. So sitting at 1990 points and 185 wounds right here, just beautiful, just beautiful. Like I said, the only thing this list, it does struggle with armor, but it's decently fast. I mean, the ogres move, and they got 18-inch shots on the lead belchers, and this list can range you. It can definitely range you. Just the only thing is, that Grand Strait hold the line, which is not horrible. I've taken hold the line with weaker battle line units than these lead belchers, but I would like to, if I messed around with points, to buff that up just a little bit. So there's the list. I'll show you what the prime models look like, and then we'll get right into game 1 at Goldmine. Alright, here's the list. Everything's built and primed, and that's about it. We started adding just a little color, but nothing else going on with painting yet. One quick note before we get into here: the missions and battle packet that we're playing is coming from the Slambo GT, and those guys out in San Antonio, they do a great job, and they've sort of taken and manipulated all the missions a little bit. I'll have a link for those in the description if you want to read the long form on those, but they all have a little touch of something going on, something a little wacky with them. These are not 100% standard missions. You'll recognize them as you see them, but they are a little different, so check out the link in the description to see that full packet.
All right, we're here at game 1, and we're playing a special mission. Like I said, we're playing the Slambo packet. We're playing the Piana. I'm playing here with Steven, and he has Winterleaf, Sylvaneth. I've deployed like this in a big wall, and he is back here like this. He's got his one tree down. And once again, all lists will be in the description. There will be a link for him. He's given me the first turn, so I'm going to go and see if I can get some points. Alright, so for my turn, I went Ferocious Advance with the Lead Belchers, took that, basically moved everybody up. I auto-ran these guys to get this point. Rothgar took this point with his unit, and we didn't manage to get off that point. I did a couple wounds with one cannon to one of his units, and that's the turn. Scored 5, going into Sylvaneth turn 1. Alright, so for Steven's turn, Steven, do you want to try to recap that? Because there was a lot going on in the hero phase. What do you got going on?
Yeah, I tried to summon some trees. The only one I could fit in was over here to teleport. I did get the endless spell off to give me +3 to move and charge. And so I managed to teleport my sword turn off hunters over here, and I got a charge through the wall into Hrothgar. I managed to kill off the rest of the unit, but didn't do any damage to him. And then I basically teleported over here to capture this objective and ran these 3 up here for my battle tactic.
Alright, and he did take the side points, and I still hold the middle. And we're going into a roll-off for a turn 2. Oh, before we do that, we got pinata stuff. So, yeah, we gotta do the pinata first. Quick little update. Special rule for this pinata. You get to basically kick one of the objectives, and he kicked the one over here, and he rolled for D3 extra points. So he got a 5, so he got 3 extra points. So the score is now 8-5. However, the pinata moved 2d6 in I get to choose the direction, so I moved it closer to me. Going into a roll-off now for turn 2. Alright, so 6-6. Oh my goodness, I went first, and I'll take that. Alright. So my turn went good, but not awesome, because I really didn't kill or put any wounds on, finish anything off. My shooting was sort of not awesome, because he's got so many bubbles of saves that he's just making them, and I'm not hitting great. I took Monster's Takeover to put the Stonehorn here. I had a couple, but this was the only one that was guaranteed, so I went ahead and did that. I retreated Hrothgar out of combat, and I have all the points now, but we're going into Sylvaneth turn 2. Well, pretty good turn for Steven. He managed some good charges up here. He wiped out the screen. He got into that center Ogre unit with his Kurnoth Hunters, and he rolled just like really good with the damage, and it killed the unit down to 1 wound, and then he ended up, what is it?
It's like a stomp at the end of combat. Yeah.
Killed the last guy. He took this one, killed the unit off, and of course he kicked the pinata for an extra D3, and guess what? He rolled a 3 again, so the score is 14-10, and I rolled a 7 to move it, so I just moved it there. I debated trying to move it in the back corner, but I don't know. So we're going into a roll-off into turn 3. Oh, 6-6. 2 in a row, I'll take it, because if not, ooh, it'd be bad. All right, going into my turn 3.
So that video is cut a little bit short because I didn't even record after the end of my turn. What ended up happening is I took my full turn and killed some things, did some good damage, and basically took out his Kurnoths. And we were getting close on time. We started a little late today. Yes, I know, guys. Everybody that follows channels, why don't you ever you got 2 turns. You got 3. Like 3 turns going. And then they started calling time, and they wanted us to talk it out. So Brian came over, the guy running the tournament, and pretty much walked through all the scenarios. The one thing keeping Steven in it was he continued to lose the priority roll, therefore he continued to get to kick the pinatas and score. I think that during his turn 3 he also scored 3 points for that. He rolled like 3. He got 9 extra points off of kicking the pinata, and that's the only thing that made the game pretty close, because I pretty much was getting my battle tactics every turn. I think he failed one of his battle tactics also, and when we were looking at points, it was really close. Brian came over, and I sort of let them, because Brian runs this army, talk it out, and just sort of go through, hey, the last his turn 3 and what battle tactics could be achieved 4 and 5, because by that point he did have Drycha was dead. The all his Kurnoff hunters were dead, and it was pretty much like he had a few units on the board, but really not enough to come back from. So while the game felt kind of in my favor, all those 6s for priority really helped me out. But then again, all those 5s and 6s he was rolling for kicking that pinata and extra points really helped him out too. So it was a very odd mix. That's what kept the game really close and fun. And I haven't played Steven. I actually haven't seen him in a good while. Maybe even a year or so, and so it was nice to see him again. And we didn't really get close-up shots, but all his models that are painted are really painted beautiful, and it was fun playing Sylvaneth. It was a good starter game I think for me for the day, because I'm like, we had some distance in between us. It wasn't immediately smash my face with some Alpha Strike army, so it allowed me to get sort of my mojo going with these ogres. With all that being said, it was a close victory, and now I'm moving on to game number 2.
Alright, so we're here at game 2, and I'm playing Mr. Ryan Parker, and we're playing Sylvaneth Winterleaf again. And the mission name is Hangover Heroes. I have deployed like this. He is deployed like that. And he's already said that he outdropped me. He is going to go first. So Parker's going first. Good game. Good luck. All right, Parker, you want to walk through this turn, see what you did?
So basically all I did was I moved my units. Draca shot 20 of her little swarmlings, killed a lot of Noblars. They are Noblars, correct?
Yes.
Yes. And then basically everybody else just moved up. Nobody ran. Everybody charged. Basically all my melee units plus Draca. You can see the results after all the hits and wounds and all the damage done. And then over here, we actually just did pick the battle tactic to run with the 3 units. We picked Prey Monsters, so we got 3 points for that. And we had one little teleport unit go make sure we secured the objective in case there was any shenanigans with the melee.
Yeah, and he wiped out the 40 goblin. The block of 40 is gone, and then I lost 10 out of that other unit.
Yep.
And he ended up scoring an extra point for his battle tactic, so the score is 6 to 0 right now, going into my turn. 1. Okay, so I scored a total of 5. My battle tactic was to kill Drycha. She was over there, and managed to take this objective just by moving onto it. And this combat in the center didn't go as good as I wanted it to. I was able to take out this unit of Kurnoff hunters. In that one, he's got like a wound left. I had some shooting left, charges, impact hits, everything. I did not do as good as I wanted to on that. So we're going into the score is 6 to 5. We're going into priority to turn 2. 4. I'm going to take that, and we'll see what we can do. So after taking the double turn, I took Monstrous Takeover here, and I was able to wipe that unit in basically combat, and the tree revs were wiped from him with charges and everything else. I was able to shoot off his other Kurnoff hunters, And what did I do that last turn? I did that last turn.
You did this turn, yeah.
Basically, I just worked on the block, the 30 block of Dryads over here. So everything went into him, everything shot, finished up with charges. Hrothgar made a big charge and went around the side and was able to tag the back to get on that point, so it allowed me to take all 3 of the points. Going into his turn 2 right now, score is 10-6. So he's got 4 models left on. Oh no, wait, he's got a unit of tree revs way in the back.
45 minutes left in the round if you're not done already.
And so he's still got some killing power for sure. All right, so Sylvan F. Parker finished his turn up. What all happened this turn?
Basically, pretty simple. Teleport over here with their waypipes so that they can take the objective. Durthu just basically tree paths over here with his own teleport to shoot a little, did some damage. Tree Lords moved up, 1 charge, did some damage, took some damage again, back. This one took monstrous takeover, just throwing some points.
All right, and we're going into a roll-off for turn 3. 5. All right, so 5-3. Let's go for it and see what we can do. Pretty quick and simple turn. I took Conquer on the point over there, and basically Hrothgar, between shooting and just doing impact hits, knocked that unit off. We sort of shuffled up, and we ended up killing this guy. I think the Noblars actually killed him in shooting, and we got 6 points for killing a monster and holding all 3 points, and that's where we're at going into Sylvan turn 3. All right, wrapped up my turn 4, and we didn't kill that, and we didn't kill that, and Durthu killed all that. So I took a run here last turn. We're going into Parker's turn 4, and trying to got this guy alive. That was really cruddy. I was hoping to kill him on the charge. He's got 2 wounds left.
How many wounds does he have left?
He has got 5 wounds left.
He has 5 wounds left?
Correct.
In there.
All right, so we finished this game up. We talked out the last turn. We're moving in. Pairings are up for the last game already, and we're going in to play. So it was a close game. I think it came down to 1 point there at the end and figuring it all out at the end of turn 4. So that was pretty much the board state somewhat at the end, and we're moving quick.
All right, so I've known Parker a long time, and I'm getting him back out and playing some AOS, and he's a very good player, and but he's still learning AOS in general and 3.0 specifically, because he played a little bit back in 2.0. And I think that was the big thing that sort of helped me out, because there was just little things throughout the game that, little battle tactics here, little movements and maneuvers that just playing so many games of AOS, he's still learning these things. So at the end there, his last turn, the battle tactics were really slim on what he could do, and that sort of swung the game in my favor. That's what it was. I will say that I made, after especially watching this, but I knew when I did it, I was like, why didn't I ever take, kill a battle line unit? That turn that I took Monster's turn takeover, I think it was turn 2. I should have went and just killed his tree revs and did it with a monster. I would have got an extra point right there. So that was sort of a mistake. In general, pushing up so far, I think I should have had a little bit more leeway with my screens out there, left my guys a little bit further back. He was able to chew through the screens pretty effectively. And I tell you what, the Kurnoff Hunters are no joke. They can dish out some wounds. And they were actually pretty tanky in both games I played them. I had to commit a pretty good amount of resources to chew through them. So far, my assessment of the army going into this, I played Sylvaneth twice. And both times the games have been a little bit closer than I would have liked. I'd like to blow it, and you see that this Leadbelcher's list is really putting out some wounds. It's taking models off the table, but at the same time, these games are still continuing to be close. So far on that game, I tell you what, I don't know who Hrothgar might have been the MVP at times, but then again, the Stonehorn definitely did work out on that flank. Going back after the game, I told Parker, I was like, hey man, my opinion was that he smashed really hard on the left side, or my right side. If he would have just took those 3, the Durthu and the other tree lords and came around and smashed my left side. I said, I don't know if I would have recovered from that. I would have just been too much. With him hanging those back a turn, it allowed me to focus fire other things. So, I don't know if it's right or wrong. It's all dice rolls at the end of the day. But that's what I was saying. If he'd have been a little bit more aggressive, I might have been tabled myself, especially if he'd have been in those spots and got a priority. It would have been really, really ugly for me. But all in all, I'm really much enjoying the army. I just like the amount of bodies on the table. It's like, hey, it's 180 wounds, bro. Run through it. It reminds me of playing like Pink Horrors a little bit, where I had, rode around with 150 wounds everywhere I went. So I'm enjoying that aspect of it. The swinginess is, it's like playing Skaven again, where it's just like, hey, everything's variable wounds and everything hits hard sometimes, and the next turn it lets you down. So that's an interesting aspect, but happy so far with how they're doing and really enjoying the playstyle. So now we're moving into game number 3.
Okay, so we're here at game 3, and I'm here with Kel. And Kel, we're playing Remember the Alamo. And it's, once again, these modified missions. I'm lined up like this. He's got Kragnos and the boys over there. He outdropped me, obviously. Who is going first? Who's going first?
Oh, I'm going to go first.
He's going to go first. All right. All right, Kel. So take us through the turn.
I moved the Man Crusher Little Giants up. I ran them. All 3 of these guys ran to get the Ferocious Advance. Kragnos and the other War Stomper just moved up. Kragnos ate the mine, took some damage, and then we did an all-out charge with everybody but this guy who ran. These guys can run charge, and we just absolutely wiped out the Noblars, the first Noblar screen line, and did some damage to the second Noblar screen line.
Yeah, so what was that? 40 plus 15, 55 with 55 wounds of Noblars dead.
Yeah, most of that from 2 little guys.
Yeah, well, most of it, really, honestly, 20 wounds. Half the wounds came from him, just about. So, all right, going into my turn. Wow, kind of thought my double screen was going to help. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here's the deal. I went. My iron blasters didn't do much at all. I was able to drop 1 giant there. He all-out defensed in the shooting phase, so I sort of split some shots around just because it wasn't doing it. Rolled pretty poor on a lot of stuff, and I don't think he made very good saves, but I only did 23 total wounds over there. And we're going into, and I did bring out the trio of awesome to take all 3 of his back points, so just because. And we're going into a roll-off, turn 2.
Oh, I got a 1.
I got a 4, because if that would have been not it, then that would have been a big issue. All right. Okay, so my turn. Well, not great. I got 6 total points for oh yeah. Yeah, all out. You had finest hour, so we forgot the finest hour on him. And yeah, basically he's got 1 wound on him. I shot half the army at him, metal cruncher, everything I could do, just couldn't do it. We did kill, the little giant over here is dead. That was my battle tactic, was broken ranks. Did no wounds there. Did 1 or 2 to Kragnos, maybe 1. He all out defensed him, sort of ran my guys back there. Going in, that turn didn't work out. I had a plan. The plan was to kill that giant in shooting to free up the Stonehorn to possibly charge, try to do some more wounds Kragnos, but that did not work out. So it is looking pretty nasty right now. Okay, so Kel, you want to take it through? What happened this turn?
Well, we tried to save the 1 wound giant, so Kragnos had to run over and eat the Stonehorn. Meanwhile, this giant just ran in and charged, killed a battle line, which was my battle tactic, and then now this guy's sitting over here with 1 wound. Kragnus is trying to sneak around. We're just trying to get in. Only took this objective, nothing else, but we're in a good position, especially if I get the next turn.
Oh yeah, super good position. And going into turn 3, roll. Oh.
2.
All right.
Okay, so it is me.
All right, so Kel's turn. He came in here with Kragnos and killed 2 of those. Luckily, my swings were pretty bad here. He only ended up killing 2 of the lead belchers, 5 or 6 Goblinars. Noblars. I want to call them Goblinars.
I know.
That's on my name. They're now Goblinars. And he didn't hold any point, so he scored 3s. The total is 14 to 12 right now, going into my turn 3. Oh, and I burned that point for going second. All right, so my turn here. I did get my battle tactic or tactical objective, which to bring it down on his 1 wound left monster. My tyrant did it with a pistol, patow. But then he fell and did some more wounds, and then I shot some shit at Kragnos and failed a bunch of shooting, and then Kragnos yelled and killed put 2 wounds on this guy, killed the other one. So not the greatest turn of events. Just sort of moved around here. My 3 little Hofgarn dudes are chilling back there, and current score is 14 to 18 right now. So you got a measurement you need to do?
No, sorry.
All right,
It doesn't matter.
rolling up. 2-1. All right. Yeah, we'll get an objective. All right, my turn is fast. I did Ferocious Advance with Hofgarn back here in his unit. We're basically trying to retreat. Kragnos killed the last lead belcher from roaring, from taking a wound. The cannon finally hit and did a wound, and that caused basically the lead belcher to die. Everybody's trying to run away. I'm short of running, trying to scream. That's where we're at. Going into Sun's turn 4. Okay, I'm gonna talk to Kel's turn for him real quick. He did a real good play. I was trying to get my lead belchers out, and they were almost screened good, but he did a redeploy my turn, and he sort of locked my cannon in, so I couldn't push it out where I wanted to. Then he didn't even move at all, so I couldn't redeploy on him. He just did his 3d6 charge, managed to pretty close, barely make it into the lead belchers, and wiped all of that. So I've got my general, and I got Hrothgorn over there that are still alive. That's pretty much it. We're going into turn 5. See who wins. 2 to 4. You got it. All right, guys. We wrapped this up. We went to turn 5, and it was 25 to 28. I had to retreat my general out to this corner as far as I could go, and if I'd have got a 6, probably even a 4 or 5 on that redeploy, could have got him out of there, and we would have went to a draw. But as it said, he had his grand strategy, so it was 25 to 28, super close game, and yeah. So congratulations, first AOS tournament, and you went 3-0 with Kragnos and his sons.
Just cheesing it out here.
All right, so that was Kel's first AOS tournament game. He's been playing a little while, a few months, and getting to learn the game, and just been playing around. So it's interesting because I brought 2 other Roller Wounders with me to the tournament. I ended up playing both of them, so we sort of beat up on each other. That was the game. There was times when I was like, "This is so over." And just because it was just rolls here and there, and the resiliency and of just the mass wounds of the ogres just soaking up damage, and it really did. It was just back and forth, back and forth. There was like, maybe I got a chance. Oh no, I don't. Maybe I got a chance. So and the priority rolls went back and forth as well. But it honestly did come down to almost being a draw because he had to. The only battle tactic he had left was to kill my warlord, and he did it with a monster. And I had run my tyrant, and I was trying to get him in the corner behind the building because the way, just getting him back there, the giant wouldn't, even with a 3d6 charge, he wouldn't have had enough. So he moved, and to make sure that he got the charge, he got it within 9, and I was able to scoot. And I think I rolled like a 2 or 3. I rolled like nothing, and I wasn't able to turn that corner quite enough. And if I would have, it would have been a draw. fun game. Uh, just very surprising. Just some of the swings in that. The Noblar screen going down, his giant getting down to 1 wound. It was just back and forth with some wild swingy stuff. I will say that um, going back, we didn't really discuss this during the game, but probably for the last 2 turns of my game 2 and most of all of this game, my iron blasters did absolutely nothing in shooting. I'm telling you, the last half of game 2 and probably the first 3, maybe even, yeah, by turn 4 they were pretty much dead. But turn for like 5 turns in a row, my iron blasters rolled nothing. Like I was rolling ones to hit, ones to hit, ones to hit. Oh, I finally got a hit, ones to wound, ones to wound. Oh, finally, I got a hit and a wound. They made a save for a 6-up. It was just insane. And then, I finally get everything through. Oh, 2 damage. So this game would have been a lot different if I could have got them cannons just to even hit average. But, that's rolling, and that's sort of the swinginess of the Mawtribe. And I will say the other interesting thing about this tournament, I won priority so many times. I'm like, dude, if I could have done this with Marathi and the Bow Snakes, I would have tabled so many opponents because I could like never win a priority. It felt like with them, but for some reason, the Ogres were always wanting to keep that priority going, and it really helped me out. So going forward, I'm going to keep building. I've built the army. I'm going to continue to paint it. I'm going to try to get it done for Slambo. I've sort of said, hey, this is the direction I'm going. I'm happy enough with them. I did like the play that they had. Hopefully I can get it painted in time. Playing around with some lists. I've got 2 in mind. One is making him a Frost Lord and dropping 20 Noblars off, or I could just drop the Stonehorn altogether and do more Brian's tactic with just more bodies in there, more lead belchers and a butcher or something like that. Undecided on either one. I'm going to give both a test out and see what I like better. I think both have, committing 450, 430 points to a Frost Lord is crazy. It's a lot, but that Frost Lord is way more survivable and hits just a little bit harder with a spear. So I'm 50-50 on it. I did like the way the Stonehorn performed in general, except for that last game. No mortal wounds on the charge. Like Metal Cruncher did like 2 wounds. It was nothing. So didn't really get to do much that last game. But other than that, I felt that he performed pretty well. So I'm going to stick with him for a while and see what happens. Plus, I really like the model as well. But that's sort of where we're at. That's where we're headed. Probably for the next couple battle reports, you're going to see me running some Mawtribes. And then when we get to Slambo, that's what I'm going to do. Now, if something happens and they decide to nerf Mawtribes, because I'm playing them, we know how that works. I would be really surprised, and then I might just hang up my hat and retire. But this is the plan, and this is the path, and that's what we're going to do for the next little couple months, and see if I can get some wins out of these big fellas over. Just want to give some shout outs to all my opponents, guys. It was a fun game. I hope to see all you guys out again. I know that we're going to see Kel playing some more, winning some games, hopefully, and get Parker out there as well. Maybe he gets his keeps running Sylvaneth. He's also got another army or 2 to run. So hopefully get those guys out under the roll to wound tag, playing some games. Thanks to Mike at Goldmine. Guys, I can't tell you this enough. If you come to Houston and you really want to go check out a store with probably more inventory of miniatures than anywhere else besides the internet, you need to head down to Goldmine Games in Richmond, Texas. It's a wonderful place to go. Wonderful tables to play, and Mike is always a gracious host. Thanks for Brian for running the awesome tournament, and congratulations to Gavin for winning. I think Kragnos finished first and second in the tournament, so OP. Kragnos is OP. Nerf. All right, guys. As always, thanks for watching, and y'all be good.